and I know you as Pacey, but for people who don't know you, we'll just say Cervantes for Congress because that really is your mission in 2026. And we'll jump right in.
Yeah.
You are running for Congress for California's newly drawn Congressional District 3. Tell us first why. I mean, you had a background in media. Why Congress? Why politics now?
So that's the thing. I actually feel like being in media actually it came kind of full circle. So the initial reason is my mom was my best friend, right? And she lived alone in Nashville, Tennessee. And, in a red state, they don't really take care of their people when it comes to healthcare. So she had diabetes and she ended up having stroke. And what happened was when she was in the hospital, the doctor said, hey, she needs 6 months of rehab in order to go and live on her own again with her diabetes and now a stroke. So her healthcare system, her federal healthcare system came back and said, you know what? Our doctors think that she only needs 2 weeks. And so with that, after the 2 weeks was up, they told her, if you have to stay, you have to pay $1,000 more every day, $1,000 every single day. So that's going to be $30,000 per month for 5.5 more months just to get the the required treatment in order to go home and live on her own again. So she couldn't afford that. I couldn't afford that. No one in our family could afford that. So, and I also was doing this from California, so I didn't know how dire the situation was. So then she got sent home after 2 weeks. Then she had, we don't know how many. The doctor said she had between 3 and 6 more strokes because she was not able to take care of her diabetes. And anyone with diabetes knows that if your insulin spikes and you're not in the mental correct mind in order to take care of your insulin and your blood sugar, if your blood sugar spikes, that causes strokes almost immediately. So she had about 3 to 6 more strokes. And then once again, she was in the hospital, and that completely wiped her mental abilities. She was not the same person after that second round of strokes. And so when my mom was in the hospital that second time, once again, the doctor said, actually, she needs more than 6 months of rehab. And they came back and said, well, our doctors are only going to approve 2 weeks. So what happened was I flew out to Tennessee, sold her house in 3.5 days, and I moved her in with me. And I was able to keep her alive for about 2 more years. She would have died within the next month if she had just stayed there. So she was living with me in this 900 square foot house, and I was able to keep her alive for another 2 years. And she passed away about 2.5 years ago. And so when she did that, well, she didn't do that, even though there's some parts of me thinks that she may have just wanted to go. But when she passed away, I had been wrestling with that for the last 2 years, for the following 2 years. And, I was on the radio at the time, 105.1 KNCI, now 100.5, making people laugh, is what I love to do in media. But at that point, I was like, what can I do to make sure this doesn't happen to another family? And so Prop 50 happened. And it was crazy because I feel like it was kind of a sign from my mom, because Prop 50, as you probably know, Christie, because you follow politics, Prop 50 was designed to combat Texas, where they were trying to get 5 more Republicans into the House. We were trying to get 5 more Democrats to combat it. And so I was drawn just perfectly into District 3, where we have now the opportunity to flip the seat from red to blue, which would mean adding another Democrat into the House. And I want to not only just add another Democrat into the House, but I want to actually be one of the ones where I come in and I fight hard for change. And I know so many candidates say, I'm going to fight for you. No, because I don't have a political career to burn down. I don't have a political career. So if I have to go in and I have to even battle Democrats to get something done, I don't care about burning my political career down in order to do that. I don't care about making enemies in Congress. It's my job. I'm not there to make friends. You watch Drag Race, so there's a quote where they're like, "This ain't RuPaul's best friends race." Kind of like in Congress, I'm not there to make best friends. I'm going to be there when I'm elected to get there and fix our healthcare system. We have to expand healthcare to make it more affordable. We have to make sure that families don't go through what my family went through, where she was told in order for you to pretty much live, you have to pay $1,000 a day. And that's just not plausible for 99% of Americans. It's possible for billionaires, but they don't have to worry about any of this, which is where we go to. My campaign slogan is build the billionaires. That's how we're going to essentially expand affordable healthcare and expand what Medicare can do for people, which is including memory care and long-term care. And we're going to build the billionaires by making sure that they pay the same percentage of taxes that you and I do. And Christy, I'm sure you know, you and I pay like 20, 30, 40% in taxes, where most billionaires, many pay under 5%. Some don't pay any taxes at all. So that's a long kind of winded version of why I got into Congress. And I do believe that it is my mom looking down and saying, hey, you lost me, but I'm going to help you. I'm going to send you signs and the help that you need in order to get into Congress to be the change.
So I first of all, I'm sorry that you've lost your mother. That is difficult, especially if you see it being a situation that really could have been prevented had you had the money or the access. So I feel your passion. And like most people who are passionate about creating change, how do you anticipate being able to create this change if you are elected, given that you don't have that experience? You say you have no bridges to burn, but what do you have aside from passion that makes you the person who can actually create this change?
I mean, that's a really good question, because you're right. A lot of people will look at me and be like, well, you've never held an elected office. What I do know how to do is communicate. And I feel like a lot of people in Congress don't know how to communicate to their constituents. So when I'm in there fighting, I have no problem. People may have seen my social media. I make multiple videos per day speaking to my constituents and, well, my potential constituents. When I'm in Congress, they will be my constituents. And the American people, especially my future constituents, need to know where I'm at in the process, what I'm fighting for. Someone that a lot of people have found out about recently, Zoran Mamdani, he makes he not only did that during his campaign, he's doing that in office. He's making a video every single day communicating to the people. Back in the days, presidents would do, a weekly radio show talking about the state of their administration. Then it went to TV. Social media is the way to communicate to people now. And Zoran Mamdani is one of the people that does it. And I would do the same, make multiple videos explaining to the people, this is what we have to do. And listen, if I get into office and there are so many Democrats that I'm trying to get on board with building the billionaires in order to expand affordable healthcare, expand affordable childcare, then they vote no, then you know what I'm going to do? Again, I don't have a career to burn. I'm going to go into those representatives' districts the following election, and I will help figure out how to primary them out of their own seat to get someone in there in order to expand affordable healthcare and expand affordable childcare and everything else that my campaign stands for by building the billionaires. So, what I won't promise is, hey, I'm going to solve all your problems overnight, because we all know that's not always possible. People look to the government not for solving every one of their problems, but listen, you are taxed by the government, so the government is expected to and should help you live a better life. So those are just two of the ways that I personally believe I'm going to be able to go in and help be the change.
You're going up against Amy Barra, a congressman that's been in office for over a decade. How do you feel that you would be different in this particular office?
Yeah, I feel like Ami Bera, when he was first elected, because he's been in office for over a decade. When he was first elected, he was doing some okay things. I do feel like Ami Bera at this point has kind of taken his incumbency for granted. I do feel like he doesn't really hold town halls. I mean, he speaks to the people sometimes. He's speaking to them a lot now because he knows he's in trouble, because the California Democratic Party he is the only incumbent in California that the California Democratic Party did not endorse, because he has done nothing. He really is what I call a do-nothing Democrat. He is not pushing for expanded affordable health care. He's barely pushing for even those Obamacare subsidies. He's not pushing to end the genocide in Gaza. He's not pushing to really end the war in Iran. I mean, he'll say strongly worded phrases, and that's about it. But he really needs to be talking to his own party, the Democrats, in order to figure out what to do. And Ami Bera is just not a fighter. He just doesn't have that energy. We need fresh new blood in the House of Democrats. It's going to be the House of Democrats in November and January. The House of Representatives. And what he's just really doing nothing. He's not pushing anything. I genuinely believe he just wants to sit there, do votes when he absolutely has to, and collect paychecks. Whereas me, I'm going to be very vocal. And I really believe that me being in media, me being in radio, speaking to 500,000 Sacramentonians every single week for the past almost 15 years, I really believe that I can be a strong voice in the Democratic Party in order to get things done. You need a communicator. You need an effective communicator in order to get these things done.
You made mention of a couple of international touch points, Gaza and this current, I hate to say that it's a war in Iran, but really that's what we are doing right now. We are beginning a war in Iran. What are your thoughts on that, just briefly?
I think it's insane, because at this point, first of all, Trump said, oh, it's not a war. It definitely is a war. I mean, we are literally bombing another country. We are bombing them almost, their government out of existence. And many of their innocent civilians that don't even like the regime, they don't even want the regime in power, we're still bombing them. Like, we are the ones that bombed that girl's school. So upwards of 150 little girls are dead because we decided to start this war that didn't even need to be started, because what we're doing is, all we've accomplished so far is replaced one leader of this horrible regime with the leader's son. So we're spending billions of dollars a day. Trump wants another $200 billion for this war. But with the one big beautiful bill, that horrible crap bill that took away Medicare, they won't even expand Obamacare subsidies. That $200 billion could fund both of those. That $200 billion could also fund expanding affordable childcare. The $200 billion that Trump wants should not be passed. And there are many Democrats, and there are some Republicans that are against it as well. So this idea that we apparently have an administration that is America first is a pretty blatant lie, because we're not taking care of Americans. We're just bombing Iran.
Thank you for your thoughts on that. I don't want to keep you much longer, so I do kind of want to wrap it up. But what would you say, in a nutshell, is Cervantes for Congress? What do you stand for? What are you hoping to do? And why should people vote for you?
Yeah, Christie, honestly, Cervantes for Congress started with, how I explained with my situation with my mom and wanting to change healthcare. But it's grown to more than that, because we want to also expand affordable childcare. People are noticing that the child birth rate is dropping dramatically. Even Elon Musk, a billionaire, is worried about the child birth rate dropping. Why? Because it's obvious, because it's so expensive. People cannot afford to have children like they did. So in the past, when America was apparently great, when we build the billionaires, not only are we going to expand affordable healthcare, moving towards Medicare for all, ideally, we're going to expand affordable childcare, moving towards universal childcare, so that people aren't financially afraid to have kids, so that the birth rate doesn't suddenly drop, so that it, according to Elon Musk, it'll implode the entire population. I think that's a little bit dramatic, but whatever. The Other one that I have is a personal grievance, and I feel like you probably do too with PG&E. Do you like PG&E, Christy, at all?
No comment.
Exactly. You're like, I don't want my house to be blown up by them. So PG&E, no one in California I have asked so many, I hit 100 houses every day out canvassing. Not a single person that I've talked to has said, oh yeah, I love PG&E. They're a horrible company. We need to turn it into a not-for-profit community energy provider. So up here, we have something called SMUD, Sacramento Municipality Utility District, which is community owned. People that are with SMUD pay about 40% less in utility bills. With PG&E, they are extraordinarily higher, and that's because they make $4 billion of profit or more per year. So what we're going to do is take federal funds. We're going to, essentially what I've been telling people in the Sacramento area is we're going to SMUDify PG&E. And what we're going to do is we're going to take federal funds and we're going to give them to the counties and cities in order for them to buy their way in to PG&E, but they are going to be community owned. So they don't have to make a profit. So then the utility prices and the utility bills will drop. So those are my three main things. Definitely more going on at CervantesForCongress.com. But in order to cover those, we are going to bill the billionaires. We are going to make sure that the billionaires pay the same percentage of taxes that average Americans do, like nurses and teachers.
Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate what you're doing for community. I appreciate what you're doing for your mom's memory. And definitely wish you the best of luck with everything. And hopefully we'll be saying Cervantes in Congress come this election season. Thank you so much for taking the time to give us your honest answers and let us know a little bit more about you and what you are hoping to do for community.
I love it. Thank you so much, Christy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.